Wanted to speak in a moment to the South African Health Product Regulatory Authority. They are, of course, entrusted with the responsibility of approving medical devices, the registration of these devices, the classification of these devices. They come up with the rules and the guidance on how these products should be used. They design the criteria of actually applying, as well as the review process. Joining us now on the line, Dr. Boitumelo Semete-Makokotlela, CEO of SAHPRA. Dr. Boitumelo, good evening and thank you for your time. What is the process that is undergone when reviewing a product such as umhlonyane, a herb that is found widely in Africa?
Sure, thank you so much for having us on the show. So the important thing, and I'm just going to talk about a process that we apply for all health products, which involves ensuring that we've got the scientific data for whatever application that we receive. That scientific data must be corroborated by clinical trial data that indicates its safety, its efficacy, as well as its quality of use. So those are the critical things that we look at as a regulator.
So what happens when, for example, leaders in Africa are not deterred at all by the fact that the scientists are saying there is lack of evidence, but they're going ahead distributing this product en masse, even giving it to kids? I mean, we are not seeing that in South Africa. We are, of course, governed by certain rules and regulations, and, of course, are governed wanting to adhere to that. But should an instance happen of that nature in South Africa where products are fed to the public without these approvals, what are the measures that are taken?
So as a regulator, I mean, one of the elements that we are responsible for is to ensure compliance to the regulations, and we work very closely with the National Department as well as the South African Police Services. So if any product goes out and it's utilized for claims that have not been scientifically proven, we will need to go into that area and understand what those products are, and chances are we will recall those products if they're not registered. I think I must caution the public to say, you know, in the absence of scientific data that show that this product is efficacious against COVID-19, we err on the side of caution. We say rather not use it because there is no scientific data that shows that it's an efficacious product that has looked at its quality and its safety. And we're not saying the data is not there. We're saying as a South African regulator, we have not received that data.
Now, it seems a view from the traditional practitioners tonight is that while you're implementing your processes as SAHPRA, you seem to sideline the traditional practitioners, most of whom are in rural parts of South Africa with very limited education, and therefore your safety processes are, in their words, above the heads of the ordinary traditional healers and more geared to benefit the elite who might have the benefit of being able to get certain research coming from SAHPRA.
Sure. So there's 2 points I'd like to make. The first is we do not regulate a space where a traditional healer gives the product to one person at a time or so, because then it's not a large number of individuals. So we don't regulate that, and we've been very clear on that. However, what we've done in the last, couple of years, we've been working with a number of stakeholders to say, as a country and as a regulator, how do we start regulating these areas? And so we're working very closely with the Department of Science and Innovation, as well as with universities who are quite experienced in this area, to say, how do we as a regulator put in place regulations that will ensure that we have safe products that go into the market? And this is in the instance that they want to go commercial. But if it's a one-to-one, a traditional healer giving this to patients or an individual who lives in their neighborhood, we do not get involved in that type of area.
How do you classify products? For example, traditional medicines being classified as complementary medicine. What goes into that classification and what informs the criteria?
Sure. And I mean, this is details that we've got on our website, so I will encourage, the public to visit the SAHPRA website. So we've got what we call complementary medicines. So these are medicines that include supplements, so your vitamins, etc., as well as medicines that have very light claims. so they don't have serious health claims. So that's what we have. We also then have the African traditional medicine, which is where now these products such as lenganya would fall into, and that's the area where we are, working with these stakeholders to ensure that we in future have the regulations to regulate that area.
And do these processes favor, for example, as SAHPRA operating in South Africa, the African indigenous knowledges? Because the other criticism we're hearing tonight is that these processes are more geared towards satisfying the Western authorities as far as proving the efficacy of some of these products, but they do not consider what has been traditionally used in Africa.
So the critical thing for us as a regulator is to ensure that whatever product that we would then eventually register, we can confirm that it is safe for use, it is a quality product, and it's efficacious. And for one to be able to do that, you need to have the scientific data to corroborate that. And hence, we are working with the Department of Science and Innovation and universities to say, for this area of indigenous knowledge, how do we ensure that we've got the regulations in place to support that?